let's finish out the show by talking about those stupid, stupid Giants. A historic loss to the Chicago Bears. Why historic? Well, according to Bob Papa, the voice of the New York Giants on WFAN 101.96 is the FM. Papa says that this was the first time the Giants have gone winless in October and November in their franchise history. I mean, yikes, dude. Yikes. And if you were to ask me, hey, Neal, when did you think that the Giants didn't stand a chance? When did you think that the Giants were going to lose? It was early, folks. It was before there was even a score. I think it was 0-0. And it was 3rd and 3 at the Giants 47. Saquon Barkley ran a modified wheel route. I wouldn't call it a swing pass. It was in between like a wheel and a swing. And Jones put it right on the money, right where it needs to be, right in Saquon's hands, and he just dropped it, straight up dropped it. And I thought to myself, none of these guys give a fuck. None of these players really care anymore. They can say all they want to the press and say, we still believe and we're going to fight and we're not going to give up and da-da-da, and we feel like we're close. And da-da-da. No, you're not. You're not close. And you know it, and you're playing like it. They are. They just are. Most of them. I don't want to say all of them. Obviously, Daniel Jones is playing his heart out, trying his best. But, I think Saquon is definitely, in the week leading up to this game, he's out in the media getting quoted saying, I just want to ball and have fun. Did he look like he was balling and having fun against Chicago? No, not at all. So I think he's kind of not thrown in the towel on the season, but he's just like, I don't know what to do anymore. Pat Shurmur doesn't know how to use him. 3 targets, 2 completions, 1 yard. Dude, what are we doing? You can't. I mean, every week we're talking about how we have to get Saquon the ball in an open space. You're not able to do it in the running game. You haven't been able to figure that out, despite the obvious. Don't run straight ahead dives into the middle of the line. You're gonna have to run a little bit of misdirection. You're gonna have to pull. You're gonna have to trap. You're gonna have to do something just to create a little bit of space, just the tiniest sliver of a hole, a crevice, and he'll get through it and make a move. And when he gets to that second level, he's gone, which he showed on one of the runs late in the game. But the straight-ahead dive bullshit has got to end. And then what? We're in another 3rd and short situation, 3rd and 1, in Bears territory. That's got to be a gimme. That's like a gimme. And Shurmur calls a toss to Saquon. Why are you tossing the ball back 4 or 5 yards to the outside where there are plenty of Bears there to greet him? When have we ever run that pitch or that toss and it's been successful? In the red zone. What? And that's why Pat Shurmur should be fired. I don't care if he's a player's coach and the players have his back. You continue to lose, no one's going to show up. No one's going to buy the merch. No one's going to go. Even the most loyal fans. I'm one of the most loyal fans out there, and it's just like, I don't know if I want to watch anymore, much less go to the games. I mean, the game on this Sunday, it's going to be all Packers fans. That's for damn sure. But, it's weird because Shurmur has one good series that he calls per game that makes you think, why, what, where did that come from? Why aren't you doing that more often? You have it in you. And you don't want to show all your best stuff. Motherfucker, you're 2-9, dude. Show your best stuff every day, every series, every week. Just throw out your best stuff. Who gives a fuck? No one's watching these games next year. If we face the Bears next year, they're not going to go back to this game and say, oh, look at all the best stuff they were throwing out there. I mean, come on, dude. Just throw out your best stuff. The end around to Sterling Shepard for 22 yards. Beautiful. The touchdown to Caden Smith. You fake shotgun. You fake the run to Saquon right. You come back left. Caden Smith is wide open because he's going from right to left underneath everything, undercover. Dude, like, where is that call anywhere else in the game? But it's just 1 to 2 series per game that he absolutely nails it. And then the other series, he's just got his thumb up his ass. He's got his thumb up his nose. He's just brain farting all over the place. So, that Golden Tate. So the two major injuries coming out of this, Jabrill Peppers is like a broken back, and Golden Tate is in concussion protocol. I tell you something, figures. That's the kind of season it is. When Jabrill Peppers comes in and returns a punt 40 yards, it looks amazing doing it, and then breaks his back on the return. And he was only in there because Golden Tate tried to return a punt like in the first quarter or something like that, and he got fucked in the face, like hard. Something flew off his head. I don't know if it was a mouth guard or a piece of his helmet. Something flew off his head. Of course, no penalty called because we're the Giants. We don't get those calls. And said the ref called like holding on us or some bullshit. And I knew as soon as I saw that hit, I was like, Golden Tate is for sure injured. He's definitely concussed. And what happens? He plays the rest of the game, and he has 3 catches for 33 yards. And on that last touchdown that he catches, I was like, he still looks like he's hurt. Like he kind of caught it, fell back, and then he didn't get up and celebrate. He kind of slowly went to his knees. I think Shep was there, maybe, or Slayton. And he's just kind of half celebrating, like slow celebrating. And I'm like, that's not the Golden Tate I know. So the Giants have a serious problem with playing guys that have concussions. They did it with Shepard. I don't know, who knows if they did it with Solder and Jenkins, but like, Jesus, you got to be better about your protocol. Like, and why are you risking these dudes, dude? We're so far out of the playoff race. There's no need to force them back into action. Yeah, so the Jabrill Peppers punt return was huge. Puts us at the Chicago 29. We have all the momentum in the world. We pick up 5 yards on 3 downs. Exhibit B for Pat Shurmur getting fired. Dude, we have the momentum. Huge momentum. Huge return. You hand it off to Saquon, he gets 5 yards. All right, fine. I am a huge proponent of, you get a massive turnover, big turnover, you go for the fucking jugular. You get your offense. It's like almost programmed into the teams, ingrained in their heads. When we get a turnover in opponent territory, or whenever we get the ball, start our drive in deep in enemy territory, we go for the end zone the very next play. I mean, honest to God, like rush out in the field as soon as the referee blows the whistle, snap the ball and go for the end zone. Attack. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. And he just refuses to do it. Handoff, dude. We're all like frothing at the mouth, foaming at the mouth, because we finally have something positive going in this game against a pretty good defense. The offense sucks, but your opportunities are going to be limited. Go for the jugular. Nope. Of course, we're a 3 and out, like a 3 and out at the 29. Ugh. And so you have to kick a field goal. And of course, Rosas obviously misses it. DeOssie had a bad snap. Riley Dixon had a great hold, but Rosas pushes it right. And I'm all for getting rid of Aldrick Rosas. I think 2 out of 3 seasons you're atrocious, not even average. And I understand Lawrence Tynes was tweeting about how the average success rate is down. It's like 79%, which is the worst since 2000 or 2010, something like that. And I'm like, I don't care, dude. I don't want this guy near my team anymore. He's missing so badly. He's missing extra points, missing field goals, and it's altering the way we play the game, and ultimately affecting us and losing the game for us. And I feel for Zak DeOssie. I've hung out with Zak DeOssie. I hung out with him at a bachelor party in New Orleans. He was a cool dude, really cool dude. And we hit it off. So I'm not going to talk shit about him. But at the same time, it just feels like maybe this should be his last year. Maybe this should be it. Just because, I mean, the snaps were just, I mean, he rolled the ball back on the first one, and then the second one that Rosas missed, he put it kind of on Riley's back hip, his back shoulder. But Dixon, on both of them, did a phenomenal job of getting it down and the laces out. And, of course, Rosas pooched it. But, Rosas hits those 2 field goals. It's now 13-3, and it's 13-13, and ultimately, when we score the touchdown to Tate, it's 20-19. Or if he hits one of 2, it's now 19-17, 19-16. It's just. Of course, Shurmur won't talk shit about his players, but show a little anger towards your players. You can't just keep coddling them and letting them get away with this bullshit. And I think about DeAndre Baker. They specifically called out DeAndre Baker because he lollygagged and jogged after Demaryius Thomas in the Jets game. And so they singled him out during the film review, the tape review, and chewed him out. And I'm like, yeah, I think you got to do that. I mean, we're in week 10, week 12. You're making the same goddamn mistakes that you were in week 1, and you're half-assing it. I mean, that's the big one. Not hustling is just awful. And, we pushed for Corey Ballentine to get more playing time, him and Julian Love, and they did. Julian Love got the pick, had a big return, set us up on that one drive that went deep into Bears territory, and then Ballentine was just getting ripped left and right. I mean, Allen Robinson had his fucking way with him. I think it was something like he was targeted 14 times and allowed 13 receptions or something like that. Just unreal, dude. Allowed 12 receptions on 14 targets. Yeah, so Corey Ballentine, and of course there was an article that jinxed the piss out of him going into that game, saying the coaching staff and the players, everyone, just all around, they're so impressed with his toughness. And it's like, well, yeah, he got shot in the ass and he survived, and the fact that he lost his friend during that shooting and was able to come back and play is just a monumental feat. But yeah, he was getting torched left and right. And of course, DeAndre Baker, he gets benched for Sam Beal, but then when he does play, he's one of the highest graded players by PFF. It's oh boy, another reason to hate PFF. Leonard Williams, dude. Where the fuck was Leonard Williams? He didn't do anything. He had 1 assist. And I don't even know about hits or pressures or any of that other nonsense. All I know is you look at the goddamn box score, 0 sacks, 0 solo tackles, 1 assist. No tackles for loss. And we're going to reward this guy with a huge contract this week? What have you seen out of this guy that makes you think that he's a long-term investment? And even if he does come around and plays out of his mind in the last few games, he's going to use that to command a ridiculous salary, where I don't think defensive line really is the crutch of this team on defense. It's the linebackers and it's the secondary. Speaking of which, Markus Golden, who's going to be a free agent, he's had at least half a sack in 8 of 11 games this season. I think he had some 2 or 3 tackles for loss. So he was one of the few front 7 guys that was able to actually play with some kind of intensity and play well. If your offense is ailing you, we are the cure. Mitchell Trubisky had 255 plus yards in a game for the first time since week 10 of last fucking year. Allen Robinson, the second, had 100 plus receiving yards for the first time since week 1. Prior to this game, DeAndre Baker had allowed 149.9 passer rating. I mean, it's almost perfect. I think perfect's like 153. According to ESPN's Jordan Renan, 2 unnamed players described Baker as quote-unquote a handful, end quote, this season. Yikes. Quote, I've never when the play where he jogged after Thomas against the Jets was reviewed by the team and reviewed harshly, one player said, I've never seen anything like it. The offense converted 8% of third downs. Sterling Shepard had 9 targets and 5 catches for 15 yards. What are you doing, dude? What? I mean, if that's not an indication that you need to shut his ass down, what is? I just think you need to go into cruise control at this point. I mean, I know I'm not a huge proponent of tanking. I've never really liked tanking. I don't even know how you tank in football because it's like not like basketball or baseball. It's such a physical sport that if you tank, you end up hurting someone big time. So, but I am all for getting other guys reps that are healthy. And I don't think Sterling Shepard is healthy. 5 catches, 15 yards. You're averaging 3 yards a fucking catch. I mean, there was a 4th and 4 or something like that. Big time. We needed a first down, and he runs a 1-yard pattern. What are you doing, dude? I mean, that said, Darius Slayton's continuing to perform, although now it feels like he's become Daniel Jones' crutch. You know, like whenever there's a really big critical third down or fourth down, like you can see Daniel Jones just staring him down, forcing the ball to him. But Slayton had 7 targets, 4 catches, 67 yards, and a good route runner. I mean, he had some nice moves on the one long catch he had where he faked the outside, come back inside, and then was able to come up the seam. Saquon hasn't had 100-plus rushing yards in a game since week 2, since before the injury. And I don't know if it's like Shurmur has altered his play calling because of the injury, knowing that he can't really cut or do whatever. But, and New York Post calling Barkley the biggest disappointment of the season. I mean, yeah, okay. Barkley's the biggest disappointment. Sure. It's not the fact that our offensive line, despite, on paper being better than last season's line. I mean, it's just on paper a better line than it was last season, not being better than last season's line on the field. That's not the biggest disappointment? Okay. And Daniel Jones, there's the good and the bad. The good outweighs the bad. I say that every week, and this game was just another confirmation of that. Okay, so 21 to 36, 150 yards, not great, but he did have 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. He lost the fumble, but dude, are we really pinning that on DJ? Yes. When you watch the slow motion replay, could he have gotten the ball out quicker? I saw Barkley turn, and he could. Did Barkley not run as fast as he could have? Did Barkley not turn as quickly as he could have? Yeah. So maybe Jones is waiting for his man to get open and to run the route. So part of that might be on Barkley. But Jones needs to get ball, make decisions quicker, get rid of the ball quicker, pull the trigger quicker. And he didn't. He held on to it. And of course, Khalil Mack comes from the blind side, dude. He can't see Mack through his back. So he gets clobbered from behind and loses the ball. Any quarterback who gets hit like that is going to lose the ball, cough it up. But here's another point about that play. Why the hell are we leaving Nate Solder one-on-one against Khalil Mack deep in our own territory? Now, riddle me this. Riddle me that. Why, Dad? Why? Exhibit C for Pat Shurmur being fired. You have got to put... I understand why you don't put Barkley on that side of the formation, and you have Barkley just throw a shoulder into Mack on his way out of the backfield. Just chip him. Or have a tight end, Caden Smith. Chip him. You line him up over Mack. Chip him. It's not like rocket science. But leaving him one-on-one, especially when you're that backed up in your own territory, like, come on, dude. Jones is the first Giants quarterback with one or more passing touchdowns in 9 consecutive games of a single season since Eli Manning in 2014. And Jones is also the second rookie in NFL history to throw a touchdown pass in each of his first 9 games. So, but he also has 18 giveaways, which is second most in the NFL. Yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, I think he can fix the turnover thing. I mean, I think I've said this before. Lamar Jackson, led the league in fumbles last year. He's now the friggin' MVP, going to be the MVP this year. Here's a revealing stat I found on Twitter about our defense. Here's a list of the teams with the most quarterback sacks from 2000 to 2011. Eagles at 1, Steelers at 2, Giants 3, Dolphins 4, Ravens 5. Now here's a list of the fewest quarterback fewest quarterback sacks. I can't even spit it out because it's so hard to say and see. Fewest quarterback sacks since 2012. Number 1, the Raiders. Number 2, the Falcons. Number 3, the Giants. 4, Buccaneers. 5, Dolphins. You notice anything consistent, common theme about those teams with the fewest quarterback sacks since 2012? Raiders haven't been to the playoffs. It looks like they might have been going to the playoffs this year, and then they got trounced by the Jets. Good job. Falcons, who went to the Super Bowl. Something happened there. I don't remember what. They might have had a lead at one point. And the Bucs and Dolphins. Again, 2 teams that just not close to the playoffs. So that's the kind of caliber team we are. We are among the teams that have been widely considered for a long time to be bottom of the barrel laughingstocks of the league. And I think we kind of tried to address it by signing Olivier Vernon to an outrageous contract. And he got us a lot of pressures and hits. No sacks. So, and now we did the same with Leonard Williams. So it's like, what are we doing, folks? I mean, ideally, Markus Golden doesn't ask for a ridiculous amount of money. You re-sign him, and you bring in someone opposite him to rush the quarterback. And then you have Golden and someone else to rush the quarterback. 2 legitimate pass rushers. Now, that other pass rusher was supposed to be Lorenzo Carter. That was the deal. And he has not taken a leap forward in year 2. He only has 20 total pressures. 58 edge rushers have more than him. 58 edge rushers. That's almost 2 per team. So he's bottom of the league in terms of pressures. He's played more defensive snaps this season than he did in a limited role last year. Yet he has better numbers last year. 4 sacks, 8 hits, 7 tackles for loss, 29 total pressures, and 43 total tackles as a rookie. So he's definitely taken a step back. Now, is that on him? Is it the sophomore slump? Or is it James motherfucking Betcher? And as if you weren't all riled up and despondent and haven't really brought a silver lining to your world, to your horizon. Where's the light, Neal? Where do you see the light? Well, definitely not this. Pro Football Talk reports that if fired, Jason Garrett prefers to land with the Giants. Hard pass. The hardest of passes. And Mara and Gettleman, if he sticks around, would be. I mean, we would burn down MetLife Stadium if you hired fucking Jason Garrett as the head coach. That's a promise. I will personally assemble a crew to go and commit arson on our stadium. And sorry, collateral damage to the Jets. You're gonna have to find a new place to play. But the Giants would have to disband if Jason Garrett's the coach. I mean, that's just not. And I know he has connections to the Giants, and he played for the Giants at one point. No. NFL Research tweeted that Garrett is one of 7 head coaches who has been with the current team since 2011. And everyone except Garrett has been to a Super Bowl with their current team. Garrett has never made it beyond the divisional round. Whew, boy. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. I don't. No, thank you. No, I'm completely fine with going with someone else and passing on Garrett. And if he goes on to someone else and does well, uh, God bless him. NJ.com came up with 12 candidates to replace Pat Shurmur, which this is probably a fruitless exercise, but what else do we have to look forward to? Seriously, what else? I mean, this is the only thing that keeps us like interested in the Giants is like who's going to replace this motherfucker. Chris Richard. There's 12 candidates. So yeah, it's a lot. Chris Richard, Cowboys D-back and passing game coordinator, just turned 40. Dan Campbell, Saints tight end coach. He used to play for the Giants. I don't know. Robert Saleh, 49ers defensive coordinator, which the 49ers pretty legit this season. Dismantled the Packers on Sunday Night Football, which has me thinking that we might have a chance against the Packers. I know I cannot believe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I am, because it just seems like the Packers are in just a state of disarray, and I almost think that they could completely collapse coming down the home stretch. Vikings win the North, and then the Bears after this. The Giants are like good luck Chuck. We lose to the Jets, and now the Jets think they're going to make the playoffs. They go and they dismantle the Raiders. Okay? The Bears beat us at home, and now they'll probably win on Thanksgiving, and then they get a little surge of good luck, Chuck, good vibes. But yeah, the Packers will probably just take us apart, if we're being honest. But the Giants, even when they have a shitty season, they always have one big upset. Like last year, it was beating the Bears at home. I think the year before that, it was beating the Chiefs, who were like playoff bound. So we have one of those games on us, and it's probably going to be this Packers game, probably. And then we'll get all. It's like you get excited for like a half beat, and then you remember, oh, we fucking suck still. We're not like. We're in a quagmire. Kevin Stefanski, Vikings offensive coordinator. I mean, this is the guy we should have got from the Vikings, not Shurmur. Shane Waldron at number 8. He's the Rams QB coach and passing game coordinator. I don't know. Greg Roman, the Ravens offensive coordinator, which, I mean, I don't know. I don't hate it. Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma coach. That's a hard pass. No thanks. Nick Sirianni, Colts offensive coordinator, which I would strong recommend there. Josh McDaniels, Pat's offensive coordinator, will never happen, and I don't even want it to happen. Get that guy away from my team. Matt Rule, Baylor U head coach. Yes, I said it in a previous episode. I think he's got what it He's got what it takes. Eric Bieniemy, Chiefs offensive coordinator, which I just love Eric Bieniemy. Dating back to the Colorado days, like I don't know, I just love that dude. So sure, why not throw him in? And then John DeFilippo at number 1, the Jags offensive coordinator. So plenty of candidates out there, and I mean, for the most part, all 12 of those are considerably better than Pat Shurmur. Yeah. So that does it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to try and keep this. I would try to keep this to an hour, and it's almost 2 hours. So that's on me. Follow me on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. Screen name Real Cinch. Or just Google Giant Mess. Facebook.com/Giant Mess. Call the hotline 862-BIT 862-BIT 1986. And we'll see you next week. Adios, muchachos.